A mixed economy is an economic system where resources are owned, allocated and distributed by both the state and private individuals, the market forces of demand and supply. Ownership of resources is both by the state and private individuals. Some productive resources like land and industries belong to the government, while others are privately owned. Economic decisions are made by both the state and private individuals, balancing state control and market freedom. Production is both for profit and welfare maximization. The state produces goods to improve people's welfare, while private individuals produce to maximize profits. Resource allocation is by both the market forces of demand and supply and the central planning authority. There is coexistence of both the private and public sector. There is existence of indicative planning. Indicative planning is one where the government draws plan targets and provides conducive political, social and economic policies to guide the private sector, but it does not participate in plan implementation. Regulated competition in production and consumption. The government uses its authority to check on competition between firms. Limited resource wastage due to regulated competition. Better quality products are produced because of competition between the private and public sectors. Production of a wide variety of products by both the private and public sectors. Reduced income inequalities due to state control. Individuals' self-interests are regulated, for example, over exploitation of resources and consumer exploitation. It increases employment opportunities due to the existence of both the private and public sectors. The public sector provides essential goods and services that the private sector would not provide. There is economic stability due to government intervention. Increased rate of economic efficiency in production due to competition and planning. The taxes got from the private sector can generate income for the government to fulfill its obligations. In most cases, the private sector suffers from restrictions and taxes imposed by the state, yet the public sector is subsidized. Thus, the ground for competition is not leveled. Where the private sector is dominant, the consumers are exploited by the profit-motivated producers. The producers can also influence government decisions politically and economically. An inefficient public sector is a big burden to the government since the government incurs losses, experiences corruption and nepotism. If the public sector is kept on going by the state through subsidies which increase its expenditures, it will lead to public debts and an increased debt burden. The role of government in a mixed economy. Enacting and enforcing laws that govern trade or business activities. The government creates a set of laws, for example, the Law of Contract, Consumer Protection Laws, Sale of Goods Act, Food and Drugs Act, and so on. Such laws help in regulating the way commercial activities are to be conducted in an economy. Supplementing and modifying the price mechanism. The government in a mixed economy may intervene in the working of the price mechanism through measures like price controls, taxation and subsidization. For example, legislation of maximum price by the government helps in protecting consumers from being exploited by producers through overcharging. It reduces or checks income inequality. The government uses policies like progressive taxation, supporting small and medium-scale enterprises, diversification of the economy and so on, to create a fair distribution of income among people in an economy. Fair distribution of income promotes savings and investment, ensuring macroeconomic stability. The government is in charge of fighting inflation by regulating the volume of money in circulation. It also ensures that the exchange rates are stable in order to promote international trade. Macroeconomic stability is important because it promotes investment, which gives rise to the production of more goods and services. Providing essential goods and merit goods to the public at affordable prices. The government in a mixed economy provides merit goods such as safe water, healthcare like immunization programs and education, usually at subsidized costs. For example, the government of Uganda is currently providing universal primary and secondary education in government-aided schools. It checks social costs, also known as negative externalities, in a country. The government uses environment protection laws to check or reduce the degradation or pollution of the environment. It ensures that there is proper treatment and disposal of industrial waste and garbage. By controlling the social costs, the government is able to improve the quality of life of the people. Ensuring that political stability prevails in an economy. By promoting political stability, there is assured security of life and property of people. This stimulates investment both in the public and private sector. It levies taxes to generate revenue to finance her development programs or activities. The government is able to finance its capital and recurrent expenditure by using the revenue generated from taxes levied on incomes of individuals, goods, profits of companies, and so on. Undertaking strategic ventures which cannot be left in the hands of private investors. Such ventures include the manufacturing of ammunitions, printing of the national currency, and so on. Undertaking projects that require large initial capital, which the private investors are unable to raise. Such projects include the construction of hydroelectric power generating dams, construction of roads and rail lines, etc. By financing such projects, the government directly supports the activities of the private sector. Influencing the location of industries in particular areas. This is achieved by gazetting land for industrial activities such that the areas become industrial estates. For example, Namanve Industrial Estate, which was gazetted by the government of Uganda, supporting up-and-coming investors by providing investment incentives such as tax holidays and subsidies. These investment incentives help investors to incur lower costs of production. This increases production by private investors in a mixed economy. Formulating and laying down plans to be followed by the private sector or private investors and the public sector. For example, the Plan for Modernization of Agriculture, which was designed by the government of Uganda, requires participation of both the public and private sector in the economy for its effective implementation, providing and maintaining the physical infrastructure in an economy such as roads, rail lines, and power dams. Such infrastructure greatly supports the production process, leading to increased output in terms of goods and services. The production of more goods and services gives rise to economic growth. Ensuring creation of more employment opportunities for its people. In a mixed economy, the government sets up and runs public enterprises that operate alongside private enterprises. Private and public investment expands, and more jobs are created. The employed people earn income to buy basic needs of life, and this improves their standard of living.